I'm not going to die on no airplane. I'm not going to die slipping on no ice. I'm going to die for the people because I'm going to live for the people. I'm going to live for the people because I love the people. These were prophetic words from chairman of the Illinois Black Panther Party, Fred Hampton, who was brutally murdered in the small hours of the night of December 4th, 1969. He was 21 years old. He had actually just turned 21 that August. So, this 21-year-old individual still lives in the blessed memory of black people, and not just black people, but revolutionary minded, progressive people the world over. Whenever you talk to or read accounts, biographies from former Panthers, you will see Fred Hampton held in such high esteem. Like they literally had to tie this man to a chair because he literally would never ever take a break from serving the people. That is why he was so dangerous. He was not motivated by the desire for personal prestige or personal clout. He was not motivated rather by the desire for money. He was not motivated by anything except for the desire to see his people free. And he thought about how he could actualize the freedom of his people when he got up in the morning and he went to bed thinking about how he could free his people. That is why we love Fred Hampton. That is why we will continue to fight in Fred Hampton's name. So, why was Fred Hampton murdered? Because, like, the atrocity that the Chicago Police Department committed against this man was just that, atrocity. Like they had an informant, an individual of cursed memory named William O'Neill. He was a car thief and all around shitty guy that insinuated his way into the Black Panther Party. And Fred was, of course, he was a nice dude. He loved his people. He hated the pigs. But Fred had suspicions about O'Neill because O'Neill was like, he was a nut. He was talking about like how he should build an electric chair. He was basically Fred Hampton's chief bodyguard slash head of security. So he was telling Fred that he needed to build this torture device, this electric chair, to deal with traitors in the party. Projection in the extreme because O'Neill was a traitor to the party. Well, I guess to be a traitor to something, you actually have to have your heart in it at some point in time, and O'Neill worked simply for money. He was a paid agent provocateur and a paid snitch. So this snitch, William O'Neill, who Chairman Fred trusted, even though he had doubts about him, um, this individual, Nate the Great, has just described he was a Fed, that he was. This individual prepared a meal for Chairman Fred. He could not get Chairman Fred high. He could not get Chairman Fred drunk because Fred neither abused drugs nor did he drink alcohol. So he prepared a meal and he put um, doses of very, very powerful barbiturates in this meal that he prepared. Chairman Fred and everybody else ate, and everybody fell asleep. As a matter of fact, the account of the police murder of not just Fred Hampton, but also Mark Clark from the Peoria branch, a little bit further downstate. Um, Accounts of this murder and this crime scene that was made by the Chicago Police Department state that there was only one bullet fired from the Panther side. Every other bullet, and they just riddled this apartment with um, with bullets. And um, the only Panther firearm that was discharged was the shotgun that Mark Clark had. So, um, and the shotgun wasn't fired intentionally. All these people were asleep. Okay, they were all doped up on these barbiturates that O'Neill had put in the food. So when the pigs shot Mark Clark, who was working the door as security, the shotgun fired because his finger jerked in its death throes, and he died almost instantaneously. Fred Hampton actually did not die instantaneously. Fred Hampton, oh, what's up, T? Fred Hampton survived the initial gun barrage. Like they literally just showed up and started shooting. He survived the initial gun barrage and he was able to crawl off the bed. He was semi conscious. And the Chicago pigs said, and I quote, um, is he dead? No, I don't think he's dead. So they shot this man point blank in the back of the head and murdered him that way. And the Chicago police said, and I quote, well, guess he's dead now. Just look at the faces of these pigs. Look at this. Here they are, removing his body from the residence. They're happy. They're smiling. Chicago police removed the body of Fred Hampton, leader of the Illinois Black Panther Party, who was slain in a gun battle with police on Chicago's west side on December 4th, 1969. Happy, smiling. And the guy who helped put together and basically led this raid was a black cop named Gloves Davis. They called him Gloves because he always wore gloves. But yeah. So they can't even leave him alone in death. This is what they did to his headstone. This is what Panther veterans had to do to ensure that pigs would stop traveling to his burial site to shoot up the gravestone. Like it was basically like that was a bonding activity. This was their bonding activity. They would just routinely go down here every December 4th, the anniversary of his death, and shoot up his gravestone. So they gave him a bulletproof memorial. Our tax dollars hard at work indeed. Although I'm usually um, although I'm usually one to hate Hollywood exploitation of black leaders, Judas and the Black Messiah did a good job instilling his story in public conscience. Yeah, that's why, like, obviously, I do not trust Hollywood to talk about black revolutionaries or any other revolutionaries objectively. Like, you watch a major Hollywood film about the Panthers, it basically portrays them as a bunch of mindless criminals and thugs because of their lumpen proletarian backgrounds. But I mean, yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah could have done a lot better. But for a Hollywood film, yeah, I guess you could say that it could have been worse. Um, so it's been a while since I watched it. Maybe I'll give it a rewatch. So we'll talk more about Chairman Fred later. But what else is going on in my funky little corner of the internet? This guy, this asshole, Shri Thanedar, I talked about him on a previous stream. He basically ran off. He deserted from DSA, who, like, my favorite black exploitation film, probably I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. It's probably the last black exploitation film that was produced. And I just love it. It's just like, it's just so fucking wild. Um, but yeah, highly recommend. Congressman Shri Thanedar says he quit the Democratic Socialists of America because of its failure to recognize the Hamas attack on Israel as an act of terrorism. Anything else would be denying the people of Israel, the families, the elderly who were abducted, the 40 or so children who were found beheaded, basically repeating long discredited Zionist myths. He said this in an interview with Forbes Newsroom. He said that he left the group following its promotion of a sickening pro Palestinian rally in Times Square one day after Hamas's assault on Israel, which he called hate filled and anti Semitic. So, what is Shri Thanedar saying now? This post is unavailable. he deleted his he deleted his whole fucking Twitter. Funny as fuck. Okay. For those who did not have the joy of seeing this, let me see. Maybe somebody in one of the Discord groups that I'm in took a screenshot. Ah, here we go. He says, I was just hacked and a misleading tweet was sent from my account. I have deleted the tweet and taken steps to secure my account. My official statement on Israel is below, and yeah, it's just basically more of the same stupid shit. So somebody hacked a sitting U.S. congressman's personal Twitter account, and he said, this hacker said, I can no longer stay silent on the genocide taking place in Palestine. Israel has paid off politicians for far too long. I know this means I'll lose APAC financial support, but I don't need it. We need to come together to free Palestine from the terrorist state of Israel. Hick in Mormon land. Oh, what's up, buddy? Says that this dude was dick riding Modi this summer also. Yeah, like I thought I'd like my first um my first go to was like, yeah, this dude was hacked. But it would have been funny as fuck if it's like some staffer or something got access to his Twitter and posted this while, I don't know, Shri was laid up drunk somewhere. Or maybe Shri, because he was drunk, said this. But I love the internet. Um, Zeron Elite, who often comes to these things and engages in chat in a, I wanted to say odd fashion, but they actually have some bangers every now and then. Zeron Elite identifies as Canada's number one meta-modern Marxist philosopher, disabled, neurodivergent, queer, agender, Twitch mod for Taylor X Live and Corey Campbell 84. So, quite a resume. So, um, Zeron says that the six biggest problems facing 21st century. That is a standard pronunciation of our century from now on. 21st century. The six biggest problems facing 21st century communists are capitalist realism, state repression, consumer politics and breadtube, lack of action and organization, fascist and colonialist sympathies, and hypersectarianism. So he asks us to, well, I'm sorry, I don't want to misgender. They ask us to give our perspective and or ask for elaboration. In the comments, a lot seem keen on preserving American society. I mean, yeah, like most people in this country don't want to see American society torn apart because, like, a lot of people know that they wouldn't survive the collapse of rule of law or what passes for it, rule of bourgeois law, I guess, in this country. Like a lot of people would be laying in ditches or be laying in rivers because the fascists come out to play when order breaks down and the strong overcome the weak. So whenever you talk about, oh yeah, I'm so glad that America is going to collapse, like you have to keep that in mind. Like, would you survive if America collapses? Like the left is not organized enough to handle a situation like that. And until we are organized enough to handle a situation like that, it would be beneficial um, to avoid that type of wishful thinking. Um, Lil Blinky, funny ass name. Lil Blinky says revisionism, dogmatism, eclecticism, dogmatic revisionism, and dogmato eclecticism. And six is not reading enough books. Fair enough. What do I think? What are the six biggest problems facing 21st century communists? I'd say lack of study and investigation plus disorganization. Malcolm said that we're not outnumbered. Like there's more of us, meaning working class people and colonized people, than there are of the ruling class. But we're disorganized, and even our organizations are disorganized. That's how bad it is. Lack of study and investigation, like people simply don't know what they're talking about on a lot of things, and they share their uninformed opinions with other people who also have uninformed opinions, and people suffer as a result, and our politics and our organizations suffer as a result. Two, hypersectarianism and petty bourgeois individualism. It's all about me, 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 me. And we should be thinking about like how our organizations can work better together and how we can actually serve the people as opposed to like how can I get clout for my organization. Like I think PSL and Frizzo, Party for Socialism and Liberation, and Freedom Road Socialist Organization were beefing over over a Palestine march or a planned Palestine march. But Frizzo was saying that PSL was trying to wreck their thing that was going on in Chicago. And like every time I see arguments like this happening, like it's like, well, who gives a fuck? Like, why can't you two get together, call each other up, and work shit out? Like, your goal should not be to see how many people you should recruit to your organization. Your goal should be to find out how many people you can recruit to the cause of Palestinian liberation, because a lot of people are buying the Zionist narrative that the resistance is almost universally terrorists, and people are thinking that like they're believing Israeli propaganda because Zionists and the Israeli regime have a shitload of money. They have a shitload of they have a shitload of access to the press, and you have CNN and MSNBC and Fox News and all these other media outlets who are watched by large numbers of the American people and the global public as a whole, believing this shit. So it's important that we actually start winning over the masses to the cause of liberation of Palestine. Three, co-optation of certain elements by the state and institutions, and the wild propagation of these elements line. What this means is that, okay, what happens? Cops kill somebody, right? So there's an uprising. There's weeks long riots. National Guard comes in, sprays the fuck out of everybody, picks 4 or 5 so-called leaders to give heavy prison terms to, like they did with Josh Williams and Ferguson. Um, Rubber bullets, bing bang boom, like it's standard at this point. But it also forces the ruling class to realize that, hey, we need to at least act like we want to address this. So they pick a well-educated, stuffed suit, somebody that is a minority or queer or checks all of the little identity boxes, right? So they pick this person and they start feeding them media appearances, feeding them grant money, feeding them whatever the fuck they want, advise them on how to set up a nonprofit, gifts them a building, because like these people have connections to the Rockefeller Ford Foundation. Like, if the pigs like you, they will shower money on you. But in response for taking this money, in exchange for this money, you are expected to toe their line. You're expected to tell people to go to the polls. You're expected to tell our youth to put down the bricks and the Molotov cocktails. You're expected to help red bait and put all kinds of bad jackets on actual principled revolutionary leadership. This happened in Ferguson. This happened in Minneapolis. This happened in Oakland. This happens everywhere that the people rise up in righteous anger and seek revenge for the murder of one of them. So we have to be very, very leery of that. And the wild propagation of these elements line, the feds will also shower um, they'll shower clout on you. And clout is contagious. And a lot of unprincipled people will affiliate with the propagators of these bad, shitty, ultra rightist, state affiliated lines just so that they can get a steady paycheck or so that they can get a house. Like, you have to recognize, like I said, that the left is rent, shot through with petty bourgeois individualism. And if we don't combat that, this is going to keep happening. And you're going to have all these toothless ass demands that never go anywhere. But at the end of the day, everybody pats themselves on the back. And on the anniversary of the uprising, they go out and they put the hoodie and they put the shiesty back on and they go out and they cosplay revolutionaries and rebels. Point four, revisionism. You have a lot of people saying stupid shit that has nothing to do with Marxism, Leninism, or Marxism, Leninism, Maoism, or Marxism, or whatever ism you affiliate with. But they continue to call themselves these things because people can call themselves whatever the fuck they want. That's basic human right, the right to be stupid. So these revisionists, people like Eddie Liger, Haas, I don't even want to affiliate Jackson Hinkle with any type of Marxism, but like these types of people, these MAGA communists, these hardcore Dungites, like all of these people, they catch hold to younger comrades who are like just getting interested in the left. Maybe they play Call of Duty and they think Rezhinov was cool because Rezhinov was cool. But they play these games and they fuck people's heads up. And next thing you know, they've got a little cult going on of hardcore revisionists. But you also have like smaller revisionists, um, people that posture and go about in public fancying themselves Marxist academics, Marxist intellectuals, what have you. Like, what a lot of people understand about me is that, like, I actually read books. A lot of these people don't read shit. Like, you see the bookshelf behind me. You see, like, I've got books on my nightstand. I've got 2 stacks of books on top of my dresser. I've got books in my book bag. I got book stacks up in my closet. I read some books. So if I don't understand something, I'm not going to comment on it because, as the bald guy, the fellow bald guy, rather, who taught me a lot of what I know about politics, said, no investigation, no right to speak. So, um, and you have a lot of content creators who actually study as well. Comrade One Dime, whose video on the Cultural Revolution I was proud to have a small part in helping produce. Marxist Paul, aka Marxism Today, Hakeem, the Deprogram Boys, like these guys study. But you also have like a lot of unprincipled people. Like I don't think Eddie Liger has read a book since he quit getting dumped on his head in wrestling practice. Um, so it's important to read because study prevents you from becoming a revisionist. I have I have a reading list. Well, actually, I think I have two. I think I have an anti-revisionist one, and I think I have a regular one, but I need to regularly update it. Hold on, and I'm going to put it in the chat. And nobody can stand Eddie Liger. So yeah, this is an anti-revisionist reading list. It has quite a few sources. I'm going to add some more because I've been saying since April that I'm going to focus on my medium. But yeah, so check that out and inoculate yourself from shitty revisionism. Point five, various types of opportunism, mainly right opportunism. So you've got two types of opportunism. They're basically deviations in political line, how you fuck yourself up. You got left opportunism. That's basically like your red guards, your weather underground, people that think they know it all, people that think that the only way to be a real revolutionary is by doing stupid shit to ensure that you get sent to prison forever. Um, Basically, we have it. We understand everything. We got it. All the masses need to do is follow us. And there's a very good book called by a former RCP cadre called Scott Harrison, The Mass Line in the American Revolutionary Movement. And he actually talks about these distortions and fuckeries that ruin our political lines. So let me find it. It's a very long book. But it's a very important book. I encourage every comrade, new or old, to regularly revisit it. Here we go. Misconceptions and distortions of the mass line method of leadership. So you have three interpretations of the mass line. You've got the sectarian dogmatist interpretation, basically formulate a program of action based supposedly on a theory of MLM. Didn't who interview a white supremacist? The worldwide experience of the proletariat and an analysis of the objective conditions. Actually, in practice, this amounts to basing such action only on the ideas in the minds of the formulators. Compatibility with MLM propaganda and agitation. I don't know. I don't follow Eddie Liger. I just know he's an imbecile. Compatible, but in practice, MLM propaganda and agitation are often toned down in a futile attempt to avoid the inevitable results of this method's slogan. We have all the answers. Follow us. Political characterization, ultra-left deviation, characterization of leadership, adventurism, arrogance, and commandism. Result, isolation and defeat from the masses, isolation and alienation from the masses, and eventual defeat. So that's your left opportunism. Basically, let's just throw everything out there. Fuck the masses. Fuck going to them. Let's just pound ideas into their heads. That's your left opportunism. The bourgeois populist, aka right opportunist interpretation, would be to simply gather up all of these people's ideas, leave them as they are, and spread this shit around. Take it back to the masses, propagate it broadly, and lead the struggle on this basis that you did not interpret through the revolutionary theory of Marxism, Leninism, Maoism. This is a right deviation, hence right opportunism. It's also tailism. Basically, you are falling behind the most advanced segments of the masses. The underlying philosophical theory would be empiricism and pragmatism. Um, Aimless drift, masses led into ambushes and dead ends, and eventual defeat. So I would actually say that this interpretation is most heavy at the imperial core. So the proper way to use the mass line and avoid being either a left or a right opportunist is to gather up the scattered and unsystematic ideas of the masses, concentrate these ideas with the aid of Marxism, Leninist, Maoist theory, and an analysis of the objective conditions into a correct line, capable of advancing the revolutionary struggle by analyzing concretely what the various ideas of the masses will result in if made the basis for action. Then you take this back to the masses, propagate it broadly, and lead a struggle on this basis. The slogan is from the masses to the masses. And if you apply this correctly, the revolutionary movement will grow and develop, and you will eventually have victory in whatever campaign you are practicing. So, but yeah, avoid opportunism. How can you avoid opportunism? By study and application of Marxist Leninist Maoist practice, and also by like remaining close to the masses, because the masses are going to tell you when you're fucking up. And they might not even tell you to your face. They might just stop showing up to your protests. They might stop showing up to your mass meetings. They might just stop. They might stop returning your calls, etc. So yeah, avoid revisionism, avoid opportunism. And 6 is state repression. State repression, of course, as communists, we realize that the state does not like us very much because the state does not want to be overthrown. They like having power. So that's just something that you need to be wary of, because like um, you have to be careful what you say on the internet. You have to be careful what you say in public. You have to be careful like what groups you extend public support to, because it's easy for a RICO case to be made. It's easy for a support or aiding and abetting terrorism case to be made. Like, prosecutors are slick. And you think that shit that you say on the internet is covered under free speech. Okay, these people don't give a fuck. Like, they will literally print your tweets out and they'll be waving them around in court. So yeah. That's just my 2 cents on the question, but it's a very good thing for us to be thinking about. Uh, Jackson Hinkle says that he was offered to be in GTA 6. Like, as what? As a news commentator? Because you suck at that, even though some Mexican journalist group just gave you an award, probably because you have a shitload of followers that you bought, but whatever. What Jackson Hinkle does, I think I did a video on him. It's on YouTube. What he does, I think, is he looks at this over here and he sees what's trending, and he latches on to the most politicky of it. Do I ever plan on being on the D program? I don't know. That's up to the D program. Would I like to go on? I mean, sure, but that's up to them. It's their show, not mine. So what I think Hinkle does is he looks at this shit over here and he picks the most politicky one, or he picks the most culture warrior one, because the dude is fundamentally a conservative reactionary, masquerading as a communist. He also has like ties to the LaRouche Institute and the Schiller Institute and all those nasty people who I also did a video on. Anyways, so he looks at this over here and he makes this like, just look at how the guy types. Like, he picks words that he um it's actually really fascinating. Like, I don't know if the LaRouchites taught him this, but he picks words that he bolds, that he uh types in all caps. It's like a very juvenile way to type, but his goal is not to develop the discourse in a positive direction. His goal is to make money and feed his massive Californian ego. So he says he was offered to be in GTA 6. He can't speak much about it, but like, he's a valley girl. I can't speak much about it, but like, I like you, I was disgusted at the level of degenerate felt in the trailer, so I told Rockstar to fuck off. In a world plagued by OnlyFans and porn, I pray that Rockstar Games finds God and bans GTA 6. So you've got supposed communists calling for the banning of video games now. Funny. Um, who is behind Israel's propaganda blitz alleging mass rapes by Hamas fighters? Let's see.
With the sensational headline claiming that the scope of Hamas's campaign of rape against Israeli women is revealed, testimony
He's not a Puritan, he's a grifter.
after testimony. Um, well, let's take a look at this highlight of the article pointed out by the excellent propaganda busting uh, account Propaganda and Co. Their name is ironic, of course. And they point out that the headline claims that there is testimony after testimony, but the article.
Yeah, what Israel is doing is like they're not providing hard evidence, but they keep saying, um, like they're contradicting themselves, like directly contradicting themselves. Like it's revealed testimony after testimony, and then literally in the next line, in the next paragraphs, thus far the commission has not taken testimony directly. I think they rely heavily on people not reading this shit. Like people who are actually invested in politics, people who actually care, people who actually research things, like they demand more than this. Title says testimony after testimony on a supposed Hamas rape campaign, but then the article goes to say the commission has not taken testimony directly. So which like where's the testimony? Where's the evidence? Like they've been saying this since October 7th. They were saying they were promoting these tropes of brown men as being barbaric, as being just waiting to get their hands on white women, and there has been no evidence provided whatsoever. Whatsoever. They've enlisted Hillary Clinton. She's full of shit. Nobody cares what Hillary Clinton thinks. So you're basically trying to enlist all of these celebrities and all of these celebrity politicians, which should not be a thing, and you're trying to pull on people's heartstrings. But we're talking about you're proposing the eradication of an entire group of people based on bullshit. Like we're literally watching a genocide unfold in prime time every fucking night on our TV, 24/7 if you have Twitter. And you still don't fucking get it. And you wonder why people are losing sympathy for your narrative and losing sympathy for your fucked up cause. It's your fault. Because you're thinking that people are stupid.
Itself states, thus far the commission, that's the allegedly independent.
I'm writing my thesis right now on the same exact narrative in the Congo and Kenya's decolonization. Agitation for liberation, framed as rabid attacks and rapes of white settlers. It's the colonial playbook. And it's funny that they expect black people, especially dudes, to fall for this because, like, just the word of a white woman in 1932 was enough to have somebody like me hanging from a fucking tree. They wouldn't care that I'm gay. They wouldn't care that I'm not sexually attracted to women. They just see black brute, white woman, hang, lynch, tree. So yeah, we're not falling for that shit because that's a movie and that's a story that we've heard and seen way too often. And they're mad because we're not just taking what they say without a massive fucking sugar bag of salt. But they brought it on themselves. If you didn't lie every fucking time you open your mouth or run your fingers across a keyboard, you might be a little tish more believable. But you lie all the time. Every day you get on the internet, you go on the news, and you lie. And you wonder why people don't believe you. And like, just like this, your lies are so transparent. The only thing that I could say is that you must surmise that the general public is stupid. And there's no way to piss people off like playing on their intelligence.
Commission headed by El Kayam Levy. Thus far, the commission has not taken testimony directly. And this is not the only giveaway in this article. Let's go through another example if we can. And this is the type of evidence it allegedly contains. And again, now I'm going to read a bit from the Haaretz article. It says, The Shin Bet Security Service, of course, that's Israel's secret police, notorious for its use of torture, has released recordings of at least 2 investigations of Nukhba terrorists. Nukhba is the elite unit of the Qassam brigades, the Palestinian resistance. Uh, so it claims that they've released recordings from Nukhba terrorists who were asked whether they had been given specific orders to abuse women and children. Referring to the sex crimes, one of them said that the aim was to soil them, to rape them. A second terrorist related that, quote, the commander said, you have to step on their heads, cut off their heads, do everything to them. And again, still reading from Haaretz, a military source cited by the daily Yediot Ahronot noted that the terrorists related that the aim of cutting off heads and rape was to sow fear and alarm in the.
And the funny thing is, like, you know who's obsessed with rape? The Zionists. Like, there are several actual documented instances of mass rapes of Palestinian women, but they never talk about those. They never ever talk about those. They just manufacture this bullshit and serve it up to you. And a lot of people actually believe this stuff. That's why it's so important that Palestinian solidarity activists continue to challenge these narratives. That's why I'm so glad that the Electric Intifada exists.
Israeli public. But what do you notice about this? First of all, they're citing um, uh, interrogation videos from an agency whose use of torture is very well documented and acknowledged even in Israel and regulated in Israel. They allow Shin Bet to use torture. Secondly, these Palestinian fighters allegedly confessed they were given orders to cut off heads, and yet there is not a single beheading or decapitation that has been documented. So how
Yeah, just like they were even saying that they were putting that the resistance was putting babies in fucking ovens. Like, first of all, they're trying to gin up sympathy for their current brutal mistreatment, and well, this is far beyond mistreatment, but like brutal genocide that they're currently committing against the people of Gaza and the West Bank. They're drawing on Holocaust imagery because, as we know, the fascists in Germany and Poland and other places disposed of the bodies of the people that they had murdered by cremating them in ovens. So I think they knew what they were doing with this. They're saying that, see, they're putting the babies in ovens now after they murder them, or they're putting them in ovens alive. Like, again, people are not fucking stupid, and you cannot use past pain to justify your current enacting of pain upon people who did not engage in these acts of brutal violence from which your people historically suffered. That would be like me despising Italians for slavery, even though in the United States, maybe with one or two exceptions, there were no Italian slave owners.
much credibility can you give this? And then the third thing to notice is this is coming from a military source, a military source. So the accuser here
Yeah, everybody knows that militaries, especially genocidal colonial militaries, never ever lie.
is the
Paragons of objectivity, these.
army committing genocide. This is not actual evidence, but this is in the Haaretz article claiming testimony after testimony. Um, so now another key part of the spin in the Haaretz article uh, profiling Kochav El Kayam Levy and her supposedly independent commission is she complains a lot about the fact that independent bodies and even journalists aren't fully buying into this story and are asking for more concrete evidence. For example, even just a rough estimate of the number of victims or whether there's forensic evidence. And so there you see Haaretz asking, have you found yourself becoming a relay station for the horror stories? And she says, this is El Kayam.
It's amazing that, like, okay, am I going to sit here and say that the people who were living on the kibbutzim or were held hostage in Gaza by the resistance? Am I saying that these people were not traumatized? No, because I don't think that we should not try to tone down the extent of human suffering, even though, like, it still pales in comparison to what the Palestinian people have been going through for almost 100 years. But like, why would you just? It's like an industry centered around like, how can we find the most shocking shit? Do you have any pictures of the beheaded babies? Do you have any pictures of the babies that were put in ovens? Do you have like what type of sick fuck? What type of sick fuck goes around? They did the same shit in Vietnam. The journalists would follow around um, American commanders and ask like, "What's the body count today?" Like you had motherfuckers in Vietnam, grunts they called them, like the guys on the ground, the guys that were out there in the jungle burning down villages and doing all of those other fun things. Like they would literally be cutting off ears of civilians and wearing them around their necks like necklaces to prove their kill count. It's just fucking sickening to me.
uh, uh, Elkayam Levy says, no, I do not go there myself. Even with requests for numbers, I don't cooperate. They ask me, how many, how many, how many? There was one journalist here, a woman from a foreign news network, who drove me crazy. Are we talking about tens, hundreds, thousands? I'm sorry, no. It would be irresponsible of me to cite a number. So, like the journalist there, this foreign journalist who, whether they exist or not, we don't know. But if they do, they're asking the right question. Like, are we talking about one victim, 10 victims, 100 victims, 1,000? And El Kayam Halevi is talking like it's outrageous to even ask how many victims there are. I mean, what's wrong with that question? You could say, well, we're not 100% sure yet, but we think it's in this rate. They won't even give a single number, nothing. Um, and then
I guess the number changes depending on who they're trying to appeal to.
she makes then El Kayam Levy makes another extraordinary statement. Again, this is the same Haaretz article claiming testimony after testimony. And this is what El Kayam Levy says to explain the fact that no victims have been identified. And I think we can put this quote up on the screen too.
We will never know the extent of the damage. So basically, you just got a blank check. It's like, how much Palestinian blood are y'all gonna require to wash out you getting your ass kicked on October 7th? Like they're gonna be using this as well. Hopefully, there is no Israel after this. We can always hope, but like how much is enough? You've already killed almost 20,000 people. 20,000 people. Like how much is enough? How much is enough? How much is going to convince you that you, I just don't fucking get it. Maybe it's because I'm not a colonial murderer.
Again, this is El Kayam Levy. She says, uh, uh, yeah, in the case of yeah, she says in the case of October.
Colonial media always tended toward an emotive and graphic imagery when the victims were white. Like, yeah. Like when you're talking about an Israeli, you say killed. When you're talking about Palestinian, you say died. Like what? Died from what? Tuberculosis? Died from the flu? Died from having several hundred tons of rubble dumped on you while you lay in your bed in the middle of the night? Died from what? Because the white world, to the West, like you can see this in the discussions around Ukraine and Israel, like the most disgusting racist comments about Palestinian people have come from Ukrainian flag Twitter. Like, I've actually lost a lot of sympathy for the Ukrainian cause. I still think that it's a just struggle against against the foreign occupier. Yes, Russia was wrong to invade Ukraine. It's wrong to invade other people's countries, but like, where is your fucking solidarity? Like, why do you not feel for the Palestinian people? You want black and brown people who look like Palestinians to drop everything to support and help this white man's war, because that's essentially what it is. This is a white man's war. You want us to donate money. You Some of them were even asking me to come over there and fight for them. But when it comes to this people who have done absolutely nothing wrong in the Middle East, you have no tears, you have no sympathy. All you can think about is um, how you can continue to glom foreign aid out of my fucking check every couple weeks. That's all you fucking care about. And then you have the audacity to insult me on the internet for standing with my Palestinian brothers and sisters who have offered support with no strings attached. It's like you're taking my money already. Now you're going to fucking insult me too? Like, do they think I'm Buku the fool? And then one guy even said that fuck over Ukraine and you're going to see how quickly the war will be brought to the West. Like, now you're threatening us? Because I don't know if you know anything about Americans, but like threatening us is not the way to get what you want. It's a quick way to not get shit. So, yeah. And there was a news article, a couple news articles released earlier saying that the United States is going to run out of money for Ukraine at the end of the year. So, yeah,
Seven will
never ever rely on American imperialism. The Kurds learned this the hard way, unfortunately.
never know the extent of the damage. We know that the vast majority of those who were harmed were also murdered. So that's one explanation for why there are no, there were mass rapes, but in this chaotic situation, they managed to kill exactly everyone who is subjected to this awful mass rape campaign. If there are survivors among those who are harmed, decades could go by before they uh, gather the courage to talk about it. So
Yeah, the people that are writing shit like this, they're talking about, like, yeah, because I'm human. I don't understand why you would let your sympathy for a cause be swayed by some randos on Twitter. I don't know, man. Like, if you spend day after day getting insulted by people that have Ukrainian flags in their Twitter, and never mind, like, these, of course, many of these people aren't even Ukrainian. They're like NAFO weirdos or, like Americans that never really have to look for an excuse to hate Arabs. But like, I don't know, because I'm a human fucking being. Like, if you're gonna insult me for saying that you should have the same smoke for Israel as you have for Russia. Like, I've seen these people supporting terrorist attacks against Russian oligarchs' families, but then you turn around and you say that the resistance was wrong for taking hostages to use as political bargaining tools. So, like, if it's right in one instance, how is it wrong in another instance? It's right when the white people do it, but it's wrong when the brown people do it. The brown people are savages. The white people are brave freedom fighters. Like, I'm used to that narrative, and it's quite disgusting. And frankly, I'm tired of it. That's how you let randos on Twitter um, shift your position on things. And the Texas GOP, which is probably the most mainstream fascist organization in the country, has decided that 32 to 29 that a pro-Israel resolution would not include a ban on associating with Nazi and Holocaust deniers. So you can hang out with Nazis and Holocaust deniers if you are in the Texas Republican Party. And this was in a pro-Israel resolution. They voted 32 to 29 to take this language out. To take this language out that barred the Texas Republican Party from associating with known Nazi sympathizers and Holocaust deniers. And in a separate move that stunned some members, roughly half the board also tried to prevent a record of their vote from being kept. So not only do you think it's all right to hang out with people like Nick Fuentes and other Nazi sympathizers and Holocaust deniers, keep in mind this is a resolution on Israel. They're still backing Israel, but you can also back Nick Fuentes and others who Trump also had dinner with because Kanye dragged him to Trump's house, which was funny. But you want to keep people from finding out that you voted this way. Welcome to Texas. The Lone Star State that whips Haitian migrants with reins that you use to control a horse. And before we watch our movie tonight and we go back to talking about Fred Hampton, Comrade Marxist Heathen, a CPUSA member, if I'm talking about something written by a CPUSA member, you know it's good. He wrote this very good thing. He says that all political power grows out of the barrel of a dilemma. Here is your link so you can read it at your leisure. But he draws heavily on the experience of Mao. So apparently, you have Mao sympathizers within the CPUSA, an otherwise revisionist and garbage party, but diamonds can live amongst shit. So, he says the organizing and exercising of political power we can see today by working class forces demonstrates that political power clearly does not only grow out of the barrel of a gun. Of course, most of their colleagues in the CPUSA would say that political power doesn't grow out of the barrel of a gun at all. Significant labor victories by unions on strike clearly drew their power from their ability to withhold labor rather than their ability to use lethal violence. We can identify a variety of sources for political power, noting that the efficacy of each varies drastically based on conditions. Let's start by interrogating Mao's claim. Why would political power grow out of the barrel of a gun? It's not like bullets can be planted as seeds that grow political power like fruits, fruits on a political power tree. Political power isn't a fruit nor a physical substance of any kind. Political power is the ability of an individual or collective to influence the behavior or actions of others to achieve their political objectives. Or to paraphrase Huey, political power is the ability to define a phenomenon and make it act in the desired manner. What this means is that if somebody does something that they otherwise would not do, if not for your intervention, you have exercised power over that person. A lot of the left in the United States does not has not come to this realization. They think that political power is how many people you can get to march and wear out their shoes in a meaningless symbolic protest. No, because if the ruling class, the people that you're protesting against, do not even respond to your protest, and the only material gain that comes out of it goes to the pigs who are getting overtime and possibly the opportunity to whoop a little ass, which is what they became cops for in the first place, you didn't exert power over them. As a matter of fact, you could say that these types of protests and demonstrations um, actually are cases of the ruling class exerting power over the movement because they have convinced you that this is the way to go. Yeah, go stage a peaceful martial demonstration. Go vote. Go give a speech in front of an empty building. That's not building political power. Because if it was building political power, they would be mercilessly repressing these things. Like, have you wondered why they're trying to pass laws against BDS and other efforts to take money out of the Zionist pockets to effectively bankrupt the state of Israel? Because they know that that works. That's why states are passing anti-BDS ordinances. That's why people are talking about it on the congressional House floor, because they know that that works. They'll let you hold a protest. Shit, it's codified in the Constitution. You can hold a protest. A gun allowed the Chinese Communist Party to do that. That's probably obvious. What might not be obvious is because we rarely give it more than a passing thought is how it happens. Weapons aren't mind control devices. What they do is enable an individual or a collective to do the most fundamental thing involved in exercising all forms of political power. Impose a dilemma on their adversaries. A dilemma, a problem, is a situation where an individual or collective has to make a choice when every option is a bad one. So the bourgeoisie and the proletariat, the masses and the small few who control our lives and make our lives a living hell, they are antagonistic contradictions. They are an antagonistic contradiction, rather. They cannot ever get along. Okay, you can have a temporary class peace, but like they cannot live in mutual harmony because one class lives at the expense of the other class. The rich, Trump, all these types of people, they can only exist, they can only live like they do because we let them. If the proletariat did not exist, they cannot live like that because they're not going to do their own labor. Who's going to build Trump Tower? Trump? Trump can't even get up a flight of stairs without getting winded. Weapons create the starkest and most violent dilemmas. The most basic example is a mugger telling their victim, your money or your life. So, more on a dilemma. A problem, a dilemma for the ruling class is a gain for the working class because every blow that the bourgeoisie gets, we benefit from. Our wages being increased is a blow to the ruling class because that means that they make less money. Granted, they're just going to try to pass it back off on us by raising prices, generating artificial inflation. Anyways, few people are likely to empty their wallets just because someone asked them to. Keep this in mind. Few people are likely to empty their wallets just because someone asked them to. Few people are likely to vote to um, defund Israel just because you asked them to. Like, you haven't created a dilemma. Why would they vote to defund Israel? APAC gives them a shitload of money. What do you have to give them? They're not scared of you. They have the U.S. military. They have the cops. They have all types of weirdos with guns on their side who would like nothing more than to kill a blue-haired commie. So why would they do that? They're going to act like they're paying attention if they're nice, if they're progressive, if they're liberal. If they're conservative assholes, they're just going to tell you to fuck off. But the weapon has allowed the mugger to impose a dilemma on their victim. Giving up their money is a bad option, but is far preferable to losing their life. Our current ruling class constantly imposes similar dilemmas on us as the primary way of enforcing their laws. Every single day, there are tenants who leave their apartments and become unhoused when they can't pay rent. They don't want to do this, but the alternative is an escalating ladder of force that could culminate in being murdered for not leaving their homes, or in the case of Marcus Mungane, not leaving it fast enough, your home or your life. But as we stated, force of arms is hardly the only way through which someone can exercise political power by imposing a dilemma on an adversary. Our ruling class has used firearms to try to exercise political power over Cuba, but its primary tool has been enforcing a capital strike, the embargo. Through the embargo, they attempt to impose a dilemma on the Cuban people: abandon your government or remain under economic siege. Neither method has been successful, but the embargo has clearly had far more impact than the U.S. sponsored terrorist attacks against Cuban civilians. Effective political power is, at its mechanical roots, the ability to impose dilemmas on an adversary. Building political power involves building the capacity to do so. If you cannot impose a dilemma on a political adversary, you don't have any political power to exercise. It's just that simple. Building political power takes a lot of time and energy, a lot of work, and a lot of careful analysis. There's a highly particular process, but there's a universal structure to all the infinite ways we might build it. We need the ability to impose dilemmas on our political adversaries. If we go about the task of building political power through the lens of imposing dilemmas, we will eventually get to where we need to be, and we will eventually win. They deserve a round of applause for that. And my follow. So, yeah, they deserve your follow as well. They're also on Twitter. Here we are. Yeah. Follow them for more analysis. And if you are into Norse paganism, they're also your comrade because they're also very interested in Norse paganism. So, Fred Hampton, I found this really cool film. This is about the 1968 Democratic Convention and the aftermath. So, you get to see the Black Panther Party in the latter period, but I love the 60s. You love the 60s. Let's watch.
Possibly we can make our voice heard at the Conrad Hill. They'll be nominating Hubert Humphrey. But anything we can do to discourage.
They literally had to have the National Guard in the streets because, like, thousands, tens of thousands of people came to Chicago to protest this thing. And a really good film on Netflix is The Trial of the Chicago Seven. Yes, it is a pretty, I wanted to say fictionalized. Actually, I didn't want to say fictionalized, but like it's quite a bit of artistic license taken. But it's a movie. not a documentary. So, but yeah, watch it. But like, they basically arrested 7 activists, and it was the Chicago 8 initially because they threw Bobby Seale into this, and Bobby Seale had no he had no role in planning the 68 Democratic Convention protest, but they just grabbed him up anyways because they were like, yeah, let's grab a fucking Panther. So it was the Chicago 8, but his trial was eventually severed from this. And the Chicago 7, 8, whatever you want to call it, trial was also distinguished by the fact that Bobby Seale was tied to his chair and gagged by the marshals in the courtroom because he kept trying to make the trial into a into a school for the jury and the assembled press and the assembled onlookers in the courtroom. And Judge A.B. Hoffman, aka A.B. Hitler, did not like that very much, so he ordered a defendant bound and gagged in an American courtroom in the year of Gonzalo, 1968. But yeah, watch that film.
Them will be, I'm sure, wholeheartedly appreciated by most of the nation. So if you can get across, make your voice heard, it might possibly have some effect.
Look, 25,000 American guys have been killed. These people should be inconvenienced. Because they have permitted it. They have allowed it.
And if they're on your side, they don't mind it. And if they're against you, then fuck them.
The Randolph Street Bridge is open.
Kill! Hey, kill! Come on, kill! Come on!
That's what the National Guard was screaming. Like, they were literally just marching down these beautiful Chicago streets with bayonets fixed, shouting, kill, 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 and just beating the fuck out of any protester or anybody that looked like a protester that they could get their hands on.
Come on, I'm over here!
Kill! Shoot! Come on! Use those knives! Come on!
Shoot the kill!
Kill!
Shoot the kill!
Come on! Shoot!
Kill! That's it! Spray him! Get him!
Get behind the mule train so he can follow right to the amphitheater, to the illegitimate convention being held there. We have nothing against you joining our demonstration. We have nothing against you demonstrating.
What'd you say? He said he was against y'all during the demonstration with us. So he said he was against the police tear gassing y'all.
The Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the Poor People's Campaign, Martin Luther King was actually planning to lead a proto-rainbow coalition to Washington, D.C., to organize and fight around economic issues. He was planning on bringing poor white people from Appalachia, poor Chicanos from Southern California, well, Northern California, that's where all the fields are, Arizona, New Mexico, indigenous people, poor black people from the ghettos. It was basically going to be a multiracial, multinational demonstration against poverty. And this was what he was working on. Like, this was his main thing before he got murdered. He actually, during this time period, this was the convention, I think was in July or August. I'm not sure. But Martin Luther King was murdered in April. So I would dare say that 1968 was probably the most important year in the political history of the United States in the 20th century. Have I seen the documentary concerning violence based on the Fanon essay? It might be a topic of interest for a future stream. Yeah, I actually did a stream on it. It's on YouTube. don't think y'all just want to see the police beating the shit out of people.
Ground rules. They say we can go to 18 South Michigan and West on State. Now when we get there, they are trying to reach their communication to find out if we're going to be stopped at that point. Now, again I'm saying, we have a legal right to go to my house.
That's Dick Gregory. He was a famous comedian and political activist. He was actually from my city. I'm from St. Louis, so yeah, really proud of Dick Gregory. I think he had rocks thrown at him when he tried to tell people to go home during the Watts uprising.
Now, if anybody get arrested on their way to my house, that's a false arrest suit. Now, we are going to pull out of here now. We're going to stay on the left side of the street. We're going to walk as slow as we can because the general has to let his troops know down the line that the order Daly gave him earlier ain't no good no more.
Stay where you're at. Hold them there. Hold them.
And as many people as wanted to walk over. Okay, I left them just as they turned on.
Stay in the line. Stay in the line. Stay in the line. Forward breath. Forward breath. Keep moving. Forward breath. Keep moving.
I'll be back. I need to go indulge my nicotine habit. If you are not currently a smoker, do not become a smoker. If you start smoking cigarettes, I will find you. It is the most disgusting habit that you could ever hope to have in your life. And yes, I indulge in it.
They are at 12 now.
10-4,
You know what Dick Gregory looks like? When he comes to help, where's the lane?
Gregory lives on in Hyde Park. I think it's on 55th Street. If the march were to continue beyond 18th Street, it would be going right through the heart of the Black Belt, Chicago, south side of Chicago. They felt that this many people making, would attract quite a large number of black people. And they felt that perhaps, in my opinion, they felt that perhaps the march would swell to perhaps over 100,000 people, which is a crowd they feel that they could not control.
Okay, Lieutenant. All right. Lieutenant, very slowly. Let's go forward. Now, stop. Forward, Lieutenant. Forward.
Nice and peaceful and calm.
Honk for peace! Peace, baby, peace. no gas, because when we walk across the street legally, then they're going to arrest us legally, and then I feel we got a false arrest too. You are not on your way to a convention. You're on your way as a private citizen to my house.
Now, all of a sudden, there's a whole bunch of people in front. Now, I don't know who that whole bunch of people is. I think they ought to get away from in front, because we're trying to do it so as to preserve head. Everybody agrees on the idea of preserving head. We're not out to get clobbered. We're out to exercise our constitutional rights of protest. All you stones, just be cool.
I'm not going to get it. They kept Dick Gregory back then. The stones won't be supplied. How many they kept? Just Dick Gregory? As far as I know,
All who attempt to go any direction other than west will be subjected to arrest. Any other direction besides that direction, you go to jail.
Stand on the white, please, stay over beyond the white line.
All stones be cool.
Dick Gregory has been arrested. All delegates, please. All delegates, please. We have been told, as delegates to the Democratic National Convention, categorically, that we cannot walk on our present course where we are taking this evening stroll. We feel this is a violation of civil liberties. It is a refusal to respect our right as citizens to the streets, to free movement in this that is yet our America.
If we're going to go to jail, let's go to jail.
Oh, he's using the old pack the jail strategy from the liberal democratic wing of the civil rights movement. Basically, the idea was that if you pack the jails, and one slogan was jail, no bail. Basically, we're going to sit here as a form of protest, and we're not going to be bonded out to basically impede the system of injustice that occurs in the South. I personally think it's a stupid strategy. You should not be leading people to jail, but eh.
You have to remember, in our city, we all have to have causes. Our main cause for 2 years in the convention business has been to struggle our way out of the potential losses that occurred through the destruction of the McCormick Place Exposition Center. The commitment of that convention to Chicago was tantamount to committing pretty substantial sums of money to the rehabilitation of the International Amphitheater. And the following publicity related to the Democrats prior to the convention was very, very helpful in steering many industrial groups back into the International Amphitheater. So the convention was very valuable to us.
A high-speed but temporary beautification program is underway in the dilapidated area surrounding Chicago's amphitheater. The grass along the highway on the main approach has been brightened with flowers. As delegates turn off the highway, they'll see freshly painted aluminum cyclone fences.
Coming up here to Pershing Road is where the barricades were. From that section on, you had to have a pass to get into it. In other words, the people who lived in there had to be screened too.
An undisclosed amount...
Well, totally not a Gestapo method. Totally not an Israeli method. Let's just limit the free movement of people in a supposedly free country. That's totally not going to piss people off.
Of money has been spent on redwood fences. They extend for miles along the routes the delegates will take, screening out the vacant lots, the debris, the impromptu playgrounds of the poor.
In other words, all the eyesores. The lots were all the debris and all of that, which, in other words, you put the fence up to beautify the street.
The redwood fences may remain, hiding the unfinished business of the city. The delegates will come and go. The people of the neighborhood will go back to things as they are and always have been.
It's always the poor guy that nobody worries about. In other words, it's just the way things are. You see it every day of the week. If you travel the city of Chicago, you're bound to run into it.
That's commercial. Y'all that talking, y'all talk to these white folks, not y'all, but y'all don't understand it. It's the same thing, man. That's what's wrong with black folks today. Talking rap.
Yeah, well, let me run it down. Go ahead,
Why
Ty,
we're not gonna do it.
Yeah, well, I understand that why a lot of people don't even want to talk in the first place about the things that's going on, because they know that the white people only here to find out black people's position on the thing, then because the thing that went down the Democratic Convention is only something that happened to white folks there. And the black people understand this is something that's been happening to them for years there. A lot of brothers say this is another commercial thing. This is something that they've been talking about for the last 4 years there. White people coming in, now they want to know what black people's feeling is about the whole thing now. And black people know what the thing is now, and black people, you know, at the point now, you know, where they don't give a fuck about rapping, nothing looking for action there. And they feel that the hunky come in here, fucking with them, they ready to die there. As simple as that there. And that's the simple reason now I've been standing here for 10 minutes trying to get other brothers to talk. But these other brothers don't want to talk no more.
And you talking about the Democratic Convention. You know, they whoop niggas down here every night and never nothing say, and y'all be telling me about Democrats. Y'all can take that down the street somewhere, man. Ain't nobody. Just later. Later. Our biggest job is, you know, just getting our thing together. Later for whitey.
They all grew up together. Right in this neighborhood here, all our life, me and him, all our life in this same neighborhood.
I grew up in this neighborhood myself there, you know that.
You didn't grow up before we did.
Yeah, I didn't grow up before you did there, but I know the issue that's going on.
Well, you know how rough it was when you grew up. Imagine what it was like when we grew up.
Right on, I did that there, but I also know what's going on there as far as the police.
You ever eating powdered eggs? You ever eating powdered eggs and drinking the powdered milk? No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Hey, please. Police, like I keep telling you, police ain't, y'all, the lady for the police, man. The police, they got their job, that's their job, let them do it. But if you get your thing together, you ain't got to worry about no police action. People are under impression.
Shit. How many people have been killed in this country who have, and I quote, had their thing together? Like, you've had black insurance agents that have been killed by the police. You've had black lawyers, small business people. Hell, the police have even shot other black cops. Bullshit.
And the police are invincible, and you know that the police is that's it. When you say police is over, later it's we can, me and you get together and can be so strong and so, you know, blend in so well. Ain't nothing gonna bother us no way. They gotta be worried about the police. Man, these people know police jumping on niggas. But these people know police beating them up, and only, like you say, here they come now, cause some hunkers got jumped on at the Democratic Convention. But the police, man, y'all overemphasize. The police is a bunch of brawls, that's all. A bunch of young, ignorant patty boys that can't do no better, so they go out there and get on the job where they think they're gonna harass some black dude, that's all. The average dude, you see a police, he must be some kind of sickness anyway, because if he white, he can go out there and get a $15,000 a year job if he had something on the ball.
Those are the things you put up with. In other words, you seem to avoid all that. In other words, you're staying away from trouble. You don't want to get in trouble, so you stay away from that, and you don't want to be involved in it.
You don't fuck with the police won't fuck with you. You ain't put that on us.
You believe that, Fred?
Yeah, I believe it. Because if they just another man, shoot at them too.
But you ever seen the police come around and crack black people's head for no reason at all? You haven't never seen that, huh?
Because I only got hit upside my head.
Was you doing anything to be hit upside your head?
What's wrong? But he didn't have to hit me.
But have you seen black people got hit upside the head wasn't doing anything that you felt that was wrong?
Wasn't doing
nothing.
I
have seen them get up hit upside the head.
I have seen that. If a motherfucker don't take care of himself, he a dumb martyr. Yeah, you did? Yeah. Take care of your own self. That's all you got to do. Am I driving?
No, but the only thing I said there, I done seen the police, crack a lot of people here and there for no reason at all. You know?
You have cracked a lot of people's head for no reason at all when we was growing up. Remember?
Yeah, but that was a different time, though.
Okay, now times is now it's still the same thing.
But I'm talking about the police, you know, crack people's head.
What you care about the police? You didn't care nothing about them. Hey, man, I'm not nobody. Sorry, man, I'm playing
So he's pushing a Tom line on the police, but he's ready to punch this dude because he bumped into him.
Yeah, we better cut this out. Stop shooting.
See, black people have been demonstrating and going on for I don't know how long. And, you know, we've been getting our heads beat and whatnot. We knew what was going to happen when those folks went down there because we have seen the pigs on the scene. We know what he's like. We know what he's capable of. Just being a damn pig, oinking and beating and walking the streets. I'm sick of these damn pigs walking our streets. And so everybody gets uptight when a few hunkies get their heads beat. What did they do when we was getting our heads beat? So I don't even want to deal with why they got their heads beat, no damn walker reporting up, whatever else that's going on. I just want to deal with black and black liberation. My scene is picking up my damn gun, and I'm a mother. Have my baby in one hand, my gun in the other, and walking up to some hunky, all hunkies, saying, I'm here, motherfucker, to get what's mine. Right on.
But, you know, like all over the city of Chicago, each person, like Black Power is doing its own thing, and another is Irish Power, whatever you want to call it, you know. We're all people and all poor folks. And like the Democratic Convention, you know, and they're shortening their belly sticks and that, and they seem, you know, they didn't care what kind of person you was. They works on you with that thing. We realize a whole lot of stuff, like Dovey and all, we realize we're in the same boat.
Power flows from the barrel of a gun. Right on, right on.
Did you feel that something had to be done about daily before the Democratic Convention?
Man, that's right. When he put out that shoot to kill, man, the man that just got power mad. He just done sit there and got so much power, man, till he worse than Hitler.
I said to him very emphatically and very definitely that an order be issued immediately under his signature to shoot to kill any arsonist.
Sure, everybody get a gun and go down the street, and every dark one you see, shoot. You know what I mean? They're all evil. But after it kind of calmed down and everything else, why, there was a different story to them.
To shoot to maim or cripple anyone looting any stores in our city.
Isn't he, after all, the man who coined the phrase, good government is good politics?
He does
believe it. And he thinks good government includes the suppression of leftist dissent.
Well, they did it now. When they had this convention, about three, they thought, you know, and they put out that shoot to kill order, you know what I'm saying? So his colleagues come up there and told him, say, look here, man, you got to modify this thing. So he goes and modify it, but still mean the same thing. So when they had this convention, they said, this is my city, and y'all can't do what y'all gonna do. So he figured that these black brothers is gonna start some of these things. So he gets these police all hyped up, you understand? You know, like you when you're playing football or something like that, you know how the coach keep coaching and tell you, say, well, look at that, we got to do this and we got to do that. So naturally, Jack, when this convention comes, these hippies and yippies come, but ain't no black folks, they don't care who's there. They gonna whoop somebody, they got to whoop somebody, you know?
You said the police was there. The police, all this military force was there for the black people there, huh?
That's right, man. But we was cool. We laid dead. We gonna dig and see what happened.
Yeah, so so the black community was basically waiting to see what would happen to all these white hippies that were trying to protest the Democratic Convention. And of course, they got their asses beat. So they're going around in the aftermath of the violent police suppression of dissent. The Chicago '68 incident was basically a police riot. The police started the riot. Like these hippies, these vague leftists, they were marching because they were bad. They didn't want Hubert Humphrey to be nominated for '68. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had been assassinated, and like these people, these black people that are being interviewed, like they didn't care. Like that individual said later for Whitey. Like, we're into our own thing. So if they want to go down there and get their asses beat, get their heads smashed open so that they can, like, understand and feel, because nothing teaches like an ass whooping. So if they want a billy club upside their head, upside their ass, we're not going down there. We've been getting our asses kicked just for being black for the past, since we've been here. So, yeah, let them go down there and learn a lesson. That seems to be the consensus of the black people in this film that are being interviewed.
But then still, the police, they got to whoop somebody, cause they fired up. They just got to whoop somebody. They don't care who they whoop. And like when the white folks did, they said, look here, baby, now, they tell this, look here, you done fucked up, cause you whooping my kid. But now, you whoop them black folks, it's a shame. We wouldn't like to see you do it, but you done fucked up now, damn, cause you done whooped my kid, baby. That's my man. He is stood, lawyers, doctors, and so on and so forth. And these middle class bourgeois folks, they going to college, they got dough. They folks got dough. People like us, we ain't got no dough. If we go to college, we got to go on, on athletics scholarships and so on and so forth. So what they to do that? They say, well, this is my country. He blocks off a whole neighborhood now. There people live there, they can't raise their windows. It's hot. They can't raise their windows now. What kind of shit is that?
Huh? You know this, man, don't you? I just want to see how far, that your ideas,
Yeah, well,
my thoughts correspond.
See, right here is the amphitheater, right in here. All along here, and all these streets were blocked off. These are the little businesses that were complaining that couldn't get, in other words, they couldn't get in there to them.
After all, the success of a city is based on the total input, and conventions are valuable to a city basically for two reasons. One, of course, they bring money to the city, but also there's a fantastic exchange of ideas that occur at a convention.
The Yippies nominated a pig. His name was Pegasus. They nominated, they nominated a literal pig as their 1968 presidential candidate.
You don't know what we have. You think you know what we have. You don't know what we have.
No, I'm serious about that. I mean, that hurt my feeling when he told me that. Now, I asked him to come down here now and say something on the mic that was in his behalf. He got enough nerve to come down and tell me that he don't want to talk with that jive. See, as long as you keep talking with that same stuff, you're going to always be down.
This is Christmas Eve, then. Right. Yeah, this is the day that Christ is supposed to be born. They say that every man is created equal.
So what happened when they took you down to the police station?
Well, man, policemen out there with this sign on their car. What that do? We serve and protect. That's right, Jack.
I love how he just matter-of-factly said, "What they do when the police took you to the station?" Like, "Oh, they whooped my ass." Like, what color's the sky? Blue.
They serve us with them 38s and them shotguns and shit and protect the white folks. That's what they do.
This is Christmas Eve tonight, we have to misuse. I has been told that I shouldn't be on the street this time of night, that I should be at home, and I'm a man of 27 years old, and I know I got a qualification to be out on the street at this time of night. Now, I've been to jail myself quite a few times. You know, I've been in jail ever since I was 14 years old. I mean, in and out. Every time I get out, I go back in. When I get out, I go back in. I know what the police is going to do to you. Look at, I got my teeth knocked out over here with a big old ball of handcuffs. That's not going to happen to me no more. Never. Never.
If you are arrested today in the near north neighborhood in a car that's 2 years old or older for failure to make a left turn signal, you know darn well that every person in that car is going to be yanked out of the car by the police officers. I understand that there's a police directive that in giving a ticket, the police officer is to approach the automobile, and there is to be no request made to get out of the automobile. This directive is completely bypassed in the areas that they want to rule by fear.
When you come out, you got to come out with your hand out. Your hand out.
I was coming down Jackson Boulevard one evening, and the police put the light on, so I pulled over to the side. And I got out of the car, when they got out of the car, you know, and they came to me and they asked me for my driver's license. So I showed it to them, you know. And then they told me that I didn't have no tail light on the left side of the car. And so I said, so? You know, and so they said, well, you know, we got to give you a ticket, you know. And I didn't want that, you know. And so, before I know anything, they had turned me around on the car and start
pushing all on my pockets and patting me down and everything, like I was a criminal or something, you know. And then this time I turned back around and told him he didn't have to do that, you know. If they're gonna arrest me, take me on down to the station. And then this time, he sprayed some little jab in my face, you know.
Wait a minute, at this time was you resisting arrest or anything?
No, I wasn't resisting no arrest. And he sprayed something in my face. The little old stuff they spray in your face.
Mace?
Mace. And then it got next to me, you know, so I was turning around to try to get my breath, you know, because that stuff is rough. And by this time, I made for the gangway, you know, try to get some air, you know, because this time a whole lot of people had gathered around. I was trying to get some air, and I couldn't get no air. Then they started shooting up in there with shotguns and everything, you know. And then by this time they had called some, you know, this time a whole lot of police came around and had me standing up, and a little white rookie cop came out and hit me. And when he hit me, I didn't have no other choice but to hit him back. And when I hit him back, this time 5 or 6 more was on me with rifles, hit me all in the head.
What were you doing when this rookie cop hit you?
I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't doing anything.
In other words, he can't hit you for nothing then.
Cause he hit me for nothing. He called me, he said, "You little black motherfucker, you," and then hit me. By this time, I didn't have no other choice but to hit him back. When I hit him back, another white cop hit me behind the head with a shotgun. I fell. And they was all over me. They handcuffed me behind the back. They took me on down to the station, and I talked to the man. You know, I said, "Why you want to do that?" Then he gave me a whole lot of static down there. And then behind that, when I went to court, the judge told me that I didn't have no respect for the police and gave me 60 days in the county jail.
I imagine after them beating the shit out of you and hitting you over the back of the head with a shotgun, I imagine you would have very little respect for the police. Like, again, that was another police riot. Like, why would you just show up on the scene and just start shooting and firing shotguns and pistols up in the air? Like, who are you going to scare?
The more you are, the less you get out of them. In other words, the less respect you get out of them. Any courtroom you go in, any judge, colored, white, pink, purple, any color he is, the less respect you get out of them. If you're poor, you ain't gonna get nothing. That's the reason I don't believe in that law. That law ain't nothing. That law ain't nothing. That law is for people with money. If you haven't got no money, you don't have no law.
I don't have too much faith in the legal system at all. Legally, they have to lower the bonds, but I don't think they're gonna lower them enough as to where they just can't put up that bread, you know. And one particular mother I talked to last night, I told her that the total bond was $13,000, and she started crying on the phone, you know, because she, that it was impossible for her to raise any of that $13,000. She got about 4 or 5 kids.
Some cop might have gone into court there and said Black Panthers, and that's the first he heard of it. He got panicked, you know what I mean? So he said, better set a high bond. Or on the other hand, the whole thing might be clear to everybody, and they might be starting into their program already. I kind of don't think they're that much together, Bobby. That's hard to tell. There ain't no point to speculate about it, really.
Well, you know, this goes like this here. If you're white, you're right. If you're black, stay back.
We say old song, Negroes named held in vain, poor white remains on caboose and train. You know, cats say, hey, yeah, right, I dig it, you know? And you say, like, all right, is it black cats who are, like, you know, stopping you and making you pay them off so on your way home from working in that crummy factory before you go to that bar where you cut each other up? No, man, it's like the man is making you tight. The man is turning you in on your wife. The man is turning you on your buddy on the line.
And they're starting to dig it, but they always relate it to the black man, and they got the racist thing about them, man. They don't dig the black man. Yeah. And you got to get them over this, man. And they can get over the hill when they fight with the black man for the common cause. That's out of sight.
Talking about how to build class solidarity.
Beautiful. If we can get you together and me, we get all 3 of us get together, we ain't gonna have nothing going on. If we can't get our heads together, I say, well, maybe I'm the one part about a bill, and you know another, and you know another. And when we get together, if all 3 of us don't go together, we can't build it.
It's a class fight anymore. It's not more really a race fight, but they don't realize it yet that it's a class fight. Some of them do.
That could be the way it would be. Right now, I think the color is a factor. There are
Indians say, you know, from the time white men showed up here, and we've had meetings with them and discussed things, that they've always taken things from us, and it's, you know, and things aren't going to change now, which they really haven't, and it's just continued on this way.
They want a Gold Coast back here. It's even from, here's a picture on the wall, uptown out to regain its glory. And you can't do this with pig farmers and Indians off the reservation. You got to get rid of them.
So yeah, this is the probably the genesis of the Young Patriots organization. That guy has an Appalachian accent. There is actually quite a few Appalachian and indigenous American migrants to Chicago in the 50s and 60s. So these poor groups of people, these Appalachian Americans and these indigenous Americans, they started organizing as well. American Indian movement, AIM, was pretty big in Minneapolis, which has, if I recall correctly, the largest number of urban Indians, urban indigenous Americans in the United States. So it's really interesting to see that this wasn't just a black-white thing, but you also had indigenous people that were active in the struggles in urban areas in the 60s as well.
Because a high-rise that they built here, you know, even like the 221D3s, that one high-rise will, you know, $9,600 for taxes on one high-rise that replaces a couple of buildings. That's more taxes than a whole city block. And that's why, you know, poor people are uprooted.
You should, you know, talk to...
So we're talking about the beginnings of gentrification. Like we talk about gentrification now, but this shit started all the way back in the 60s.
The Young Patriots, they're just young street guys who are doing things. And
what do we want to do? We want to stop getting hassled. We want to have our office. We want to do our thing without, you know, getting hassled by the cops. We want to get all together.
I sat in jail for 2 years, man.
And I thought, telling me we got to get them.
I did a lot of thinking, man. And the thinking is that there's a rich man, man, and a rich man all the time got to have a dog to kick, you know?
That's right.
And that's us, brother. That's us.
We're the dog.
We're the doggies kicking, man.
Like my mother, she pays $30 rent for 2 rooms. She pays $20 on groceries, and she's got $10 left to get back and forth to work on. That ain't shit.
Okay, I want to fight, man, but I don't think that you can deal with the man on his terms.
There's some times when you got to go in, you know, you can say nonviolent, and then up to a certain extent, you know, you have to use violence.
You got to use your wits, man. Everybody got wits.
Right.
Everybody got some smarts. You gotta...
See, one of the things that's good about the Young Patriots is there's different kind of people in it other than Southern. You know, we've got Spanish, Indian, Italian, and blacks in it.
Roberta.
Right.
Roberta's the...
They had black members of the Young Patriots. It's interesting.
Go ahead. Where does he come from? Cuba. We even got a Cuban guy. Can't understand English, but you know he can talk anyway. You know.
See, and they're all interested in the problems they got here. You know, and they want to change them.
What we have to do now is pull ourselves together into a functioning group of people who can go out and rebel against them.
I'll tell you what, man. Get about 20 of us one night. We'll jump one cop, man. We'll tear them apart with our hands, man. And we'll put the fear of God in the rest of the sun.
You talk about 20 on 1. It sounds like he's read Lin Biao's Long Live the Victory of People's War.
Hey Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better.
I prefer this version to the original. The Supremes probably did the best cover of Hey Jude, just in my limited musical opinion.
Remember to let her into your heart, then you can start to make it better.
If anybody fuck with my kids, I do the same thing them kids. I get me a gun and put it on them. Boom. Like that, man. You think I'm bullshitting? Men die too, man. I'm hip, man. I get it sometimes when they feel the same way we do, man. Somebody's dying, man. I don't give a shit what's going on there. Somebody's dying.
Hey Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better.
Why does this guy kind of from this view look like a young Bernie Sanders? Hell, it might be a young Bernie Sanders.
bourgeois motherfuckers keep us apart, man.
The one that's got the green shit.
Bourgeois motherfuckers.
Remember the same cats that are sending people over to Nam to die, but they're also sending people over to kill other people, man. Nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to kill each other. They got no say in what the fuck's going on any more than we got any say in, see? I'm saying the cats are making bread in that fucking war, see? Okay, we send our fucking troops to Nam because the cats are making the fucking arms in the government, man. The cats that are selling the bullshit, whatever they're selling it, you know, textiles, man. The cats that are building army bases are making bread, and they're tight with the cats in the government. They're saying to the government, man, listen, man, to protect our investment, we got to keep the fucking South Vietnamese regime going, see?
This is an extremely advanced view on the Vietnam situation. Like, you've got everybody in this room smoking weed, getting drunk, getting high. And you got this guy over there in the corner just fucking expounding on the machinations of American imperialism in South Vietnam. I love it.
So it means they send over American cats to die over there so they can make their fucking money. United States of America, that little group does not agree with the other group.
It ain't agreement, man.
It
ain't
is.
agreement. No, it ain't, man.
Now, like they want to pull motherfuckers, man. I think they're gas, man. I dig the fuck out of Kong, man. Now, like they I think those motherfuckers got all kinds of balls. Now, they want to pull our troops out of Vietnam.
They don't want to.
They do.
No, they don't.
I heard it on the radio. They said before they would talk. I heard a lot of bullshit in the radio. Radio's bullshit, man. It's bullshit. Do you think we should pull our troops out of Vietnam?
Fuck yes.
All right. Now, say if we pull our troops out, they have got time to build their defenses against our countrymen. And when we go back, what makes you think the motherfuckers want our country, man? If I don't want their motherfucking country. Don't make They want to take it. Who's they? The government. What government? The little group. The American government and the Vietnam government wants to take it. They want power to take over our country. That's why they're fighting in the first place, to see who gets more land. I don't think it's a land thing, man. I think it's a money thing.
Fuck the rest of that shit.
You buy real, true, honest friends with money that...
If you got
It's both. It's a land and a money thing.
money, you can buy fucking shit if you want it, man. I'm here.
Money is something, man.
Like Jim says, man, with money you can buy a cop and them to beat on your ass, kill you, man. They're gonna get away with it.
Yeah, but see, money is something, but can you dish out money and... Like, if none of us bought us, can you buy us to be your real friends to protect you? If I can't buy you, I can buy people to kill you. Fuck you. See, if I don't want to deal with you, I can wipe you out, man.
If he can't buy you, he can buy people just like you.
If I had a gun, I can wipe people out too, man. Oh, yeah, your gun is small. Fuck, your gun is small. Because your gun ain't organized like the pigs are. Your gun ain't organized like the army is, man. Man, the fucking pigs are shit, the fucking army shit, man. We gotta get our power going so we can fight for what we want against the people who do not believe about what we want. That's what the pigs don't believe. I think the pigs don't believe in what you want. The fucking pigs, that is not an organization to protect people. That's a fucking racket to make money. Okay.
What's everything else in the fucking world, man? What's this war for? The war's the same thing, a racket to make money.
A lot of cats are defecting. A lot of cats are saying, well, I'd rather get high than fight your war. See? And they say, well, take me to the stockade. I want to go to jail. I don't want to get killed.
See, like a black cat, like the Panthers now, getting the whole thing about, Huey sitting in that chair with his sword. He's not on an ego trip. No. What he's saying is doing something so little black kids can say, right, when I grow up, I'm going to be a Panther, see? And see, white cats ain't had nothing to look forward to. They got no alternative. They know it gives us dignity, and we're going to fight too. People's fighting us. We can put up a fight ourselves. But I believe that we should really have united power. We shouldn't fight each other. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get people to come in. Like, I'm going with you tonight and talk to these people. I want them to come into our circle. Like he said, there shouldn't be little circles. It should be all one big circle of people fighting for the same thing.
Or not only come into our circle, we should go into their circle as well,
We should all go in together.
When we say come into our circle, then it makes it a clique again.
As a direct result of that letter, there has been a change, and we did get some publicity, and I gave Bill an article that was written in the Tribune, which if you want you can read. Okay. It gives us direct credit for this change.
I don't know you people don't know me. I'm from the Young Patriots on the north side. You people here are middle class whites.
Oh, God, we've gone through this too many times. I'm tired of it, man. Just tell us what you don't like. Really.
Now, y'all think that cops are supposed to protect you and all this good shit. But we want to get all these people together so we can fight together. Y'all can join us. If not, y'all can fight it. We want proper housing for the poor people. We want proper jobs for the people that have no education to get jobs. The right payment. We want decent housing so people can live. People that's got 9 children, their father can't work. That's what we want. That's what I'm here to talk to you about tonight.
Yeah, but Johnny, you see, we have 2 candidates who come here. One man is waiting here a long time. He has to speak. You know,
So I've been waiting all my life to tell you.
Yes, but I know.
I would like to amend the motion to ask Johnny to come back at a future meeting and to discuss this matter thoroughly as a regular point of the agenda.
Well, this little light of mine, and I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everybody sing, come on. What we gotta do is let it shine and know them as neighborhood fire, wherever we might be. Hey, that's the whole subject and thought of the night. Protect your neighborhood, protect your people. Show them you're together and stand up for what's yours. All over the neighborhood. All right, let's go one more time. Yeah, but y'all losing me, man. Hit it. We shall not be, and we shall not be moved like the tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. We've got to keep working on those people, because they're going to keep messing over as long as you just sit around and let them. I know that, many people don't like this kind of talk. Maybe they just like to sit around and have a lot of fun. But you're going to have a lot of fun after you're moved out and have to go back to the hill country or down on the plains of Missouri, where you're kicked out into another slum, and then you don't have no people with you. I know how it was when I first come to uptown. All I was living here was a lot of half-white folks. They called me hillbilly. Man, that's a proud name to wear anymore. If you don't get organized more and more, if we don't get this coalition going, if we don't get the burst of people, and the young patriots build up more and more, we're not going to be able to do anything, I remember. Everywhere I go, I'm going to let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm going to let it shine. Say, everywhere I go, I'm going to let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Say, dog at the ball, the dog at the ball. Dog's chewing the ball. He got it.
He said that for me to come back and y'all would want to ask me questions, so I brought some of my brothers along with me tonight because they know a little bit more about uptown than I do. They lived there longer than I have. And this is Brother Bug. He'll run it down to you up here.
Okay, my name is June Bug. I'm in the Young Patriots. I've been in Uptown about 10 years. And Uptown is like a southern ghetto. A lot of people who's migrated from the south to the north with better jobs and stuff like that. We had a school set up to teach neighborhood people how to, not how, but how the system works in the United States. Things from taxes, things to how Mayor Daley goes on about his stuff, about Vietnamese people, and about why we're in such a trap. Because it is a trap. My old lady's on welfare, and the guys that I'm here with, most of them is on welfare too. And like it's not a sob store, we're just trying to, survive through the thing like everybody else is that's in the ghetto. I know this is a story that y'all heard from, that you've heard before from people who's fighting in the black ghetto, like the Black Panthers. A group that I will respect for their name and what they're trying to do. And because partly I understand it and I feel it. That everybody, these guys, young guys, including myself, got together and organized a march over the local police station. who was protesting against this one cop who had...
Yeah, I went off for a few minutes, but I'm here. I'm back, and I was still listening. I still had my headphones on. So, what's really important to pay attention to here is like the camaraderie. Like these people actually knew each other in real life. In many cases, these people had actually grown up together. So this is different than just getting a bunch of people together on your college campus and reading a book. These people are actually like developing, or they had already developed organic ties to each other. That's something that's extremely important. And in the internet age, these ties have been broken. So we have to rebuild these types of ties if we're going to have the types of success and organizing that the Black Panther Party and the Young Patriots did.
Happens to be one of the most decorated cops in Chicago, and also one of the biggest killers. Okay, what happened is this cop jumps up and says, "Look, son of a bitch and hillbilly, since I see you out on the street again tonight, so I'm gonna blow your head off." We wasn't smart enough. We didn't know that.
And like the Young Patriots, like these weren't just any like ordinary types of white people. Like these guys had actually faced. These were working class or even like unemployed white people who faced police brutality and harassment. And this demonstrates that this is both class suppression in the case of the Young Patriots, the people who lived in Uptown, and racial and class suppression on the part of the people who would go on to organize who already had organized the Black Panther Party in the black neighborhoods of Chicago. And when the two got together in the Rainbow Coalition, like we're witnessing the formation and development of the Rainbow Coalition in this film, in the aftermath of the 68 Democratic Convention. We're seeing all of these various groups of working class people getting together and build actual concrete ties of unity, force, and struggle. Like, why did the Young Patriots and the Young Lords, the Black Panther Party, get together? Because they had a common enemy. They had a common enemy was the landlord, who in many cases owned buildings all around town, occupied by poor white, poor Puerto Rican, poor Mexican, Chicano, and poor black people. You had the cops, of course. Did I already say the cops? I don't know. I'm saying the cops again. You had Mayor Daley. You had a variety of enemies that these people were uniting to fight and struggle against. So, alliances built on mutual oppression against a clearly defined enemy that you can reach out and touch or demonstrate the tangible effects of oppression suffered at the hands of this enemy. Those alliances tend to last.
That we was going to be attacked by the cops right away, but we weren't. Like everybody broke up, everybody went home, everybody went to their local hangouts. That's when it happened, when they called us 2 or 3 at a time. We got our heads beat in, kids got shot at, got run out of the neighborhood and everything else.
You know, like this button here. You know, it's got all colors. It's red, yellow, black, brown, whatever. There was a coalition in Uptown of different organizations getting together.
I'd like to introduce Bob Lee, section leader for the Black Panthers.
Well, I don't have to tell my story. These brothers have already did it. We're all niggas, it seems like.
Do you have any proposed plan to remedy all of these wrongs that are in existence now? Do you have some specific project that you can come to us and we can support? Or how can we help you to accomplish as a community? How can we help you to accomplish whatever you want to accomplish?
Help us in ways that we need it most at this moment for getting a place open, which we've been at different places trying to do and can't do it. And
so they're promoting tangible goals, like they're not just like chanting about down with U.S. imperialism in Vietnam. Like they're promoting concrete goals that can actually help organize this neighborhood. That's something that the left needs to remember.
In ways of, if you got any doctors or lawyers or money in your group, to help us out. And in return, what can we do for you, man? And what can we do for you?
You know, the cats is a nice man.
And we all should be right now trying to help these cats how to get their thing together. Where they can go in the community and also get the people in the community together, man, you know, and see if they want it.
I would like to know the Panthers' feelings towards Jews. Are they going to start this?
Well,
I mean, that's what we know
yes,
the New York
ma'am.
Times.
The only way I can answer that, like, as far as like in some communities, the Jew is a symbol of exploitation. You know, and in some communities, the Italian is, the Polish cat is, the Japanese is, and some communities, the black cat is a symbol of exploitation. So if people are oppressed, this happens to be the cat, they want all things. That's all I can say.
Okay. So we can end on that note. I'm gonna watch the rest of this tomorrow. But like he's explaining that white people in black communities and poor communities have contradictions with Jewish people because like in many communities the exploiter, the landlord, the shop owner happens to be Jewish. But he also mentions that in some communities the exploiter is black or Polish or Japanese or Italian. So I really love how Bob Lee, the section leader of the Black Panther Party, is bringing this down to an understandable level while circumventing accusations of ethnic and racial hatred and demagoguery and constantly, as Mao would say, never forgetting class struggle. So, never forget class struggle. I'll see you.